The opinions expressed on this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Cable 14, its sponsors, or its shareholders, Cogeco Cable, Shaw Cable, and Source Cable Limited.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a slightly dreary day here in Hamilton. The rain outside forcing us all indoors, but here we are, Culture by the Minute on Cable 14. My name's Jeremy Freiburger, and I will be your host. Cable 14 produces this show in partnership with our organization, Cobalt Connects, which is an arts service organization here in Hamilton looking at all things cultural on our show. And when we talk about our city, here in Hamilton, we often have a lens that focuses us right on downtown and even downtown of the old city of Hamilton. But obviously Hamilton is bigger and broader than that. We look at downtown and we say that's where people go for culture. That's where the Art Gallery of Hamilton is, or that's where James Street North has been developing over the last number of years. But our cultural community, like I said, is well beyond that. And when we look at the broader city, we say there's maybe a number of downtowns in Hamilton. Downtown Dundas has been a cultural hotspot for a long time, almost a century actually, with the pottery industry starting there in the late 1890s. And then you've got the Carnegie and DVSA, lots of festivals going on in downtown Dundas. We can say the same about Locke Street and Ottawa Street. We look at Stony Creek and they've got Battlefield, they've got Zarcata Circus School. Up in Ancaster, there's another circus, Circus Orange, if you didn't know about them, relatively new to town. But you've also got the All-Star Jazz Band and all sorts of great and interesting cultural things going on basically in every corner of our community. But when we're often talking amongst cultural partners in the community, we often isolate the mountain as this place where we don't think culture exists. There aren't many organizations up there leading culture on the mountain. So we really wanted to focus today's show on what's going on the mountain with culture. We look at wards 6, 7, and 8, and they make up almost 30% of our population in this city, about 150,000 people, and we want to know what they're doing about culture. So we decided we would focus on Concession Street today. What's going on in Concession Street? What are the cultural hotspots there? And what do we have planned coming in the future to make Concession Street another cultural destination in our community? So today I'm joined by Lynn Page from the Concession Street BIA and from Leo Santos from Papa Leo's Restaurant. Thanks for joining me, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Concession Street has all sorts of interesting stuff going on. Lots of restaurants and a great mix of restaurants, everything from Chinese food to Italian to Caribbean food. We've got a number of arts organizations or cultural organizations up there, like the Métis Nation associations on Concession Street, the Irish Canadian Association. We've also got the Movie Palace, or now the Music Palace, as we'll learn a little bit later. Lynn, to start with you, talk to me a little bit about Concession Street. What makes it an exciting street to be on, either living or working or playing on Concession Street?
Well, Concession Street is the oldest business district on the mountain. It was the original downtown of the mountain, if you will, starting way back to the days when the Incline Railway, the farmers from the mountain area used to take their goods downtown. And we've been, the past several years, we've actively throughout the summer been focusing on bringing music to Concession Street. For the past 7 years we've had music on the street, so we've had the BIA's brought music artists to perform on in the afternoon, just provide a nice atmosphere for people to come and enjoy some of the great artists, music artists our city has to offer. We've always had a good group of visual arts persons that live in the Concession Street area but haven't necessarily had a place to display their works, but the mountainside or the side gallery which is now the Music Palace is giving them that opportunity, and we're really glad to see the development and the expansion in the arts community in Hamilton to not just be geographically stuck in one area. Something cultural enrichment can be accessible to all persons, and we're really glad to welcome and accept the change and people's new ideas that they want to throw into the mix, and we'll do all that we can to support it.
That's fantastic, and you're right. A lot of interesting, different things going on culturally on Concession Street for a long time. Going right back to, there was originally a theater right at the top of the mountain, was there not?
Yes, there was. It was called Summers Theater.
Yeah.
The expression Summer Stock Theater actually came from George Summers after the theater burnt down on the mountain brow just by the Incline Railway. He moved to New York State, and that's where the expression Summer Stock actually came from George Summer. So, you know, as Hamiltonians, we can be proud to have had a part in a play that way back in the 1800s was receiving 100,000 people coming to watch this play. Wow. The reason being, at the time, there was always a breeze on the mountain brow, and it was a tourist center, just in a kind of a similar way that Grimsby was. So there was, a lot going on at that time. And when after that theater was unfortunately burned, Mrs. Summers, Belle Summers, she brought the live theater from there to what was the Lyceum Theater, which is now where the Music Palace was, or is.
Perfect.
So that's an interesting bit of history that maybe not all Hamiltonians are aware of, but we're quite proud of.
And there you go. All my friends who were working in Grand Bend or in Drayton Theatre, we started Summer Stock. It wasn't you. Going over to you, Leo, cafes and restaurants tend to open up where there's lots of life, where there are people on the street doing interesting things, living nearby. You have a fantastic breakfast. Been there for that. And I know you support Red Hill Coffee Trade with some of their coffee up at your place. What drew you to open Papa Leo's on Concession Street?
The reason why I'm on Concession Street is actually, it is my neighborhood, it is my community. I live just at St. Lawrence Park there, and when I started looking at the opportunity to start a business, Concession Street was there. It was a street that my wife and I had walked down several times and just felt that we wanted to bring something to an area that we felt there was a lot of community, a lot of people, and bringing the brunch concept, the breakfast concept was what we wanted to do, because it's a place to gather, a place to have coffee, a place to chat, and like I said, the community is where I live, and that's what I wanted to see grow within.
That's fantastic. Lynn, when we talk about a BIA's job is to encourage business growth, to encourage community development, and to attract new business to Concession Street. Has the BIA talked about the role of arts and culture in developing Concession Street? And if it has, what do you have on the radar as far as things you'd like to either see come to Concession Street, or stuff that's already there that you'd like the rest of the city to already know about?
Well, we've for this season, we're going to be supporting Santa's Big Sleep, which is a theatrical production that's going to be happening at the Music Palace by purchasing tickets and then in turn giving them to kids clubs, so children on the mountain that couldn't otherwise afford to attend the play can view it.
That's great.
And we're planning to continue next year with our Music on the Street program, so that'll occur Friday afternoons, and then Street Fest and Fall Fest. We always promote local musicians at both of those events, and we were really happy with the amount of Street Fest had a 4-year hiatus. We brought it back this year. We're really happy with the turnout. Seems like a lot of people kind of said, we're sad you're gone. We're really glad it's back. So that's the BIA's direct opportunity to contribute to the arts community is by helping to sponsor and fund those events directly. And we're looking to encourage any artist that's looking for space, if they want to email me, ed@concessionstreet.net, or go on our website, which is concessionstreet.net. We have a available real estate space page open, so if anyone wants to view what spaces might be available for rent on Concession Street, I'd be happy to encourage people to. We have kind of a low inventory for rentals right now, but you never know what might be available, to encourage people to open galleries or to maybe just a workspace. And we're interested in promoting the BIA through music events, through mostly through music events, because that's kind of it's easier to draw people to a festival.
For sure.
That's supporting music entertainment. I think visual arts is a little bit of a slower process, but we'd like to encourage that as well.
And we've got a mountain of incredible music talent in this community to draw on, so that's always a a good way to go. We're going to jump now to a little off-site shoot we did up at the Music Palace up on Concession. It'll be a space some of you are familiar with, but maybe some of you have never been inside. So we're going to jump to Brian at the Music Palace, who's going to give us a little bit of an update on who they are and what they're up to. Hi, everyone. So here we are at the Music Palace up on Concession Street. I'm joined by Brian Owen, the Director of Marketing and Communications for the Music Palace. Thanks for joining us today, Brian.
Thank you, Jeremy, and welcome to the Music Palace.
Yeah. We're focusing this week on sort of culture on the mountain, what's going on outside of the downtown core that we hear about so much. And this space has been a cultural hub up on the mountain for quite some time. Give us a quick snapshot of the history of this building and what it's been culturally up here on Concession Street.
Well, Jeremy, the building goes back to about 1927, the Lyceum Theatre, and after that it was the Mountain Theatre. But even during the original days, there was some vaudevillians, some small stage productions on the stage. And actually, people have always commented the sound in here is great for just what they thought was just a movie house, but it actually has had the ability to carry sound throughout the building, from a quiet whisper on the stage area to a large concert. So after the sort of live and the silent film days, of course, it became a regular movie house with the Mountain Theatre, and then it was called the York Theatre for a while. And we brought it back to its days of the Mountain Theatre, where we started doing the live events, which was the beginning of 2012. And then just recently, we've actually rebranded, and we're now calling it the Music Palace, and being able to take advantage of our wonderful marquee and signage out front as well too. So now we're focusing not only on the live entertainment when it comes to live music, but theatrical productions, stage, dance, spoken word. A number of things, and we're very proud of that. We're seeing a renaissance on Concession Street as to a number of things in terms of the buildings, the type of business that's moving on the street, and we're hoping that we can add to that and maybe be a bit of a cornerstone to bring people up to the street to see the wonderful things that are on Concession, the beauty from the brow, the greenery, the escarpment, and just add another dimension to what's on our mountain brow and on Concession Street.
That's great, and we're downtown, and I think in a lot of downtowns all over the country, we're talking about sort of being able to restore and maintain some of those great theater spaces that have been a part of the community's history. And Hamilton has had a number of really incredible theater spaces lost over the last 20 years, but a lot lost in the sort of 40s and 50s as well. Didn't know this space had that kind of roots, back to the 20s in this community. So talk to me about what the process that the owners and you have gone through to maintain this space, and what's sort of coming up on the horizon of what you're going to be doing to the building itself.
Okay, Jeremy. Well, one of the things that we're going to be doing, although we are sitting in this lovely bench seating, we're actually going to be making a move to the original bucket seat, the low back bucket seat. So that will give a person an opportunity to have their own space, their armrests, be able to have reserved seating, and be able to allocate seating for groups on a reserve basis rather than the first come. The other thing that we're really looking towards right now is redeveloping or reorganizing our sound and light program so that we have the equipment on site that would be suitable for all types of productions. So we've been doing a lot of collaborating with different groups, whether they be on the musical side, bands, sound experts, lighting experts, the theatrical people that have been through here, such as last weekend when we had Aaron Bree Pierce and Brent Weiss, who is a great technical guy, getting their opinion in the dance community as well as to what's needed for also for the stage size too. Mm-hmm. So there's Rick Kemp, the building owner and the theater owner, is actually looking forward to doing some development in the stage and the equipment area as well too. Stage is a primary concern to be able to increase the space so make it suitable to all forms of entertainment.
Perfect. We're going to take a jump and go and check out the gallery space in a second, but before we do that, I want you to plug the next couple events that are coming up here at the Music Palace.
Well, we're pleased to have the Liverpool 4, which is a Beatles tribute, on November the 24th at 8 p.m. And then we're going to be having the following week on the 31st. Jerry Johnson's going to be coming and doing honoring the birth of Jimi Hendrix. So he's going. It's a bit of a tribute act, but Jerry's going to be actually featuring his own music as well. And we are hoping for a good crowd on both of those nights. Also, starting in December, we've got Santa's Big Sleep with Northern Lights Theatre Company, and that's going to be running from the 12th to the 15th. The 12th to the 14th our school performances, which we're expecting to have over 1,000 children over the 3 days. There's 6 shows. And then on the Saturday at 1 o'clock is a public performance. Also that morning of the 15th, we're looking at having breakfast with Santa here as well, too.
Nice.
With the BIA, yeah.
Excellent. So I think we're going to jump and go outside and take a look at the gallery space that's also part of this exciting theater space up on the mountain. Like we see in a lot of other cultural spaces throughout the community, the Music Palace is not just about music and dance and theater, but it also has a visual art component, and we're joined by Sue Gunter here from the Side Gallery. Thanks for joining us, Sue.
You're welcome.
So Sue, tell me a little bit about Side Gallery. It's relatively new. Talk to me about the kinds of artists you have here, why you started it, and what the public can expect from Side Gallery.
Well, the Side Gallery is a bit of an experiment. We wanted to see if the concession area would be a viable arts community, and it's something that I've always had a vision of starting a gallery in this area. I am a mountain girl, was born and raised on the mountain, and so for me, I have really close roots to here, and I like the fact that it's very accessible to people. I wanted it to be accessible. It has a street side window, and the artists that are here are just local artists that are from the community and want a venue to show their work. So we really started it with the expectation that we're going to try it out, see what happens, and it's really great in that because the theater is here, it's open every day, Monday to Saturday, from 11 till 5, and so people can come. If they see something in the window, they can take a look at it, unlike a lot of galleries where the hours are very limited. So it's great, and we're open during theater performances. How perfect is that?
Sounds good. Well, there you have it, folks. Lots of culture going up on the mountain here at Music Palace in the Side Gallery right on Concession Street. So once again, yeah, music, live theater, visual arts, all happening at the Music Palace now up on Concession Street. Lynn, it must be exciting to see that space sort of brought back to life by a new group. Are you excited about what it brings, and I guess what do you hope it brings to the street?
It's great. I'm hoping that we'll have further synergy form between the restaurants we have on Concession now and the theater goers or the music goers. So provide a good launching pad for expansion, not just of the arts, but all of the other economic stimulus that comes around with people attending arts events. So that's something in the broader vision that we're looking towards, and I hope to see a production going on at the Music Palace every weekend. That would be great news.
I think that'd be fantastic, both for, like you're saying, for that spin-off revenue to restaurants and the shops, but also for the theater community to have yet another place where they can start presenting locally created work, like Santa's Big Sleep is by a local company, so that's great to see. Leo, you must hopefully see that opportunity there of a new destination being made on the street. What do you hope it does for either for your restaurant, but also for the community you live in?
Just as Lynn mentioned, I do believe that just having that showcase on our street, just to invite people from all over Hamilton and outside of our greater city to come and see what can be done. Obviously, keeping the local component is something that I think that they're going to work towards as well. And on the street itself, I think that'll just become, like Lynn said, a destination where you can come to see everything that we do have, and in conjunction to dining or shopping, you can go and have some entertainment provided as well.
Excellent. And then I guess sort of back to our core topic that we've always had, the struggle of upper city, lower city. Lynn, you've been working on the mountain for a number of years now, having to mobilize groups and people. What do you think downtown could be doing better to connect with its upper city and all of the great residents in Ward 6, 7, and 8?
I think maybe if there was some transportation issues could be resolved. I think the perception is, even though geographically we're not very far apart, it seems to some people that maybe live in the lower city that going up this mountain is a difficult process. But if there was a festival or something happening on the mountain, maybe more frequent bus service from the lower city might help things along, and just some further promotion to just not hide our light under a bushel, to let people know what we have going on, and not be afraid to share our good news with the whole city.
For sure. Leo, last word will go to you as a resident in the Concession Street neighborhood. What do you want people to take away as that soundbite of what is Concession Street? Draw them up the mountain.
Concession Street's a little bit of everything. It's definitely a small community in itself. And if you're looking for a place that you can walk from point A to point Z and get all your services, you can find that at Concession. I would like to invite all the people in the city to come visit us, because there's truly some fantastic, unique choices, whether it's dining, whether it's shopping, whether it's medical services. We have a little bit of everything on the street.
There you go, folks. Concession Street, a community within a community. Thank you so much, Lynn and Leo, for being with me today. We're going to throw to a few events that are on the mountain. We always like to promote a couple of actual opportunities for people to get engaged in on the mountain. So we've got the Darcy Hepner Jazz Orchestra with special guest Sophia Perlman. Incredible mix of performers in that pile there. November 20th, 7:30 p.m. at the Hillsfield Strathallan College. You can check that out with them. The Hamilton Canadian Japanese Cultural Centre, one of the few major cultural centres up on the mountain. All sorts of incredible programming, but they have Japanese cooking classes the fourth Saturday, I believe, of every month. November 24th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. is the next one. You can check them out at hamiltoncjcc.ca. And our third and final event, obviously, the Music Connection coming in strong. The 2012 ArcelorMittal Dofasco Hamilton Music Awards Festival and Conference runs from November 15th to the 18th. Mohawk College and a number of venues all throughout the community. I know they're at Homegrown, the Casbah. You can find out all of their information at hamiltonmusicawards.com. So there you have it, folks. Culture exists in every pocket of this community, and Hamilton has a number of divides in it. We've got this east-west divide going on, and sometimes even north-south. We've definitely got upper city, lower city, on campus, off campus, a whole mix of different divides. And I think what we'd really like to impress upon you with today, and every show we do, is that culture is happening sort of in every corner of this community. It's up to you to get out there and find it and enjoy it. There are places like the BIA and a lot of different communities throughout Hamilton that are helping you find that information. You can go to our website to find that information, cobaltconnects.ca. You can also check out the Hamilton Arts Council's website, and a lot of this stuff's on social media too. So no excuse if you can't find culture in whatever portion of this community you live in. That's Culture by the Minute for this week. We're back in a couple of weeks with another episode of Culture by the Minute here on Cable 14. Check out Concession Street, folks. Culture on the mountain.